This brief video to Assignment 4. It is not intended to provide a lecture on what clinical practice guidelines are, or how they are used, or how they fit within the A-STAR model. All information on clinical practice guidelines other than for this assignment can be found in Module 5. There are some tasks that need to be completed for this assignment. First, review all the learning materials related clinical practice guidelines in Module 5. Next, search the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality's National Guideline Clearinghouse for a clinical practice guideline of interest to you but related to either PEDS, OB, or GERO. From your chosen clinical practice guidelines, fill in the CPG or the Clinical Practice Guideline worksheet, primarily using the guideline summary from your chosen CPG. Post the title of your clinical practice guideline in the subject line on the Assignment 4 discussion board to reserve it. Then either edit or reply to yourself at a future time and attach the CPG worksheet document. The worksheet document can be found in the course content, under the Assignment tab, and also in Module 5. Submit your first draft by the date shown, and you will receive feedback within 48 to 72 hours after your submission. After you receive the feedback, as with the other assignments, make your edits and submit your final draft on or before the due date. Searching for a clinical practice guideline is not difficult. Simply go to www.guideline.gov. This will take you to the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, which is a segment of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. The AHRQ, or the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, maintains the National Guideline Clearinghouse, wherein you can search for a clinical practice guideline. To begin, in the search area, simply type your search topic. I'm going to put cardiovascular for the example, but keep in mind your topic, your clinical guideline that you choose has to be related to PEDS, OB, or GERO. Simply hit go. And this will take me to many clinical practice guidelines. I'll select one here, and keep in mind your guidelines should be within the last 5 years. There may be some exceptions, and that would have to be approved by me, but generally find a guideline within the last 5 years. After you click on the guideline, you should land on the guideline summary. At this point, you could download the complete guideline, or you can work strictly from the guideline summary. What you can find on the guideline summary is almost everything that you will need to complete the CPG worksheet. Again, as you did with the systematic review assignment, you are simply copying and pasting using quotation marks to use the exact words of the authors here. When you come to certain areas with tables that might not lend itself to a copy and paste function, you may want to use the snippet tool, or in some way take a picture of that and then insert it into your clinical practice guideline worksheet. Again, scrolling down, you will see another table along with methods, etc. This is the information you will need to complete the worksheet. Copy and paste, again using quotation marks, unless it's not appropriate. One case where it would not be appropriate necessarily to use quotation marks are source of the funding. You would simply write, in this case, Singapore Ministry of Health, or Guideline Committee working on screening for cardiovascular disease. Those would not need to be in quotation marks, but everything else generally should be, anything that's taken as text from another author should be included within your quotation marks. On the discussion board for clinical practice guidelines, you will see again the tasks that need to be completed, as well as an example. Notice that the titles of the sections that you will fill in primarily can be found in the guideline summary. This assignment is primarily to teach you how to search for clinical practice guidelines and to find out some critical components of them, which can be found on the guideline summary. You can download the exact guideline and find out the particulars of how and what to do in certain particular situations. But primarily for this assignment, our goal is to be able to search for a clinical practice guidelines and to demonstrate that on the clinical practice guideline worksheet. This will conclude the brief introduction to Assignment 4 video. Thank you for your attention.